The more interesting one to me is the Surface Book 3, which is...
Do you want to take this one, Nilay? Because it is the most confusing machine ever.
There's actually a number of Surface Books in my family.
Okay.
For whatever reason, my niece and nephew have them.
Yeah.
I always ask them if they use them as tablets.
And?
No.
Never.
Never. They never take them out of that base.
Yeah.
Right. And the base to me is like the most interesting part of the entire product, because if you've got a big, thick base that makes it effectively a laptop, well, they've stuck more battery in there. There's all kinds of stuff they can do once they know in the base. And so like you just put it together and then you have a much better computer because you've got more battery. The thing is allowed to run faster, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then you pull it off and you've got this like giant Windows tablet that's unwieldy. And it's like, shouldn't you just put them together it's a tablet that is best as a laptop and worse as a tablet than almost every other tablet. But it's so compelling just because you can pull it apart. Like, I mean, I agree with you. It's confusing. I just don't know why we are across the industry now. We are insistent that the computer part needs to be in the screen, right? The iPad Pro has the same problem.
You can make it a tablet. You can like do stuff with it. I would not go so far as to say that the tablet part of the book 3 is worse than everything else. It does mean that they have one compromise. So what they did, like there's a 13-inch and there's the bigger one, the 15-inch. And you can get, if you want like an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Max Q or the 15-inch, you can get a 1660 Ti. You can like throw just a ton of RAM and GPU and all kinds of shit in the base. But the CPU has to live in the screen because you can take it off and it still needs to, work, which means that they've gone with, they haven't gone with like the 45 watt chips that you get in like a regular laptop. You have the smaller, lower wattage 15 watt Intel version of the processors, which means that this machine is this incredibly confusing mix of like way more powerful than say a MacBook Pro, because you can get like a GPU that like actually gets used by a bunch of apps and like can let you play games and do like a ton of stuff. But at the same time, less powerful than a MacBook Pro because it has a Intel processor that's like super throttled in its wattage. And so it's like, it's an interesting experiment to see what this computer is for, who needs it, who benefits from this particular combination of componentry.
But the form factor of the computer is the confusing thing. Like if you need that GPU, why are you also thinking sometimes I don't, and I just want to walk away with this tablet?
If you're a CFO, Nilay,
you're talking like someone who's never seen a Microsoft ad.
Yeah. But it's like, oh, I got to go over here and circle it.
Sometimes you got to sit down with your spreadsheet and crunch some numbers, and you want your GPU to do that for you.
Why do you need a GPU to do that?
You're a young, talented architect, and sometimes you're in the and then sometimes you gotta flip out the screen and show a client something, and then your kids are home and you gotta pull up a recipe and there's a kick. I don't know.
If I was a young talented architect, I would just become a young talented architect influencer, and I would just shop myself to all of these companies nonstop. It's like every product video you make basically features me. You should just put me in it, and I would just be a multimillionaire.
And it's just Dieter circling buildings over and over and over again.
I could imagine. I'm sure there are some people that they like the detachable tablet so much that that's why they would get this. But I do think this would actually be a better product if because I can imagine more people who would benefit from. I don't need a lot of CPU, but I do render things out every once in a while, and I need the GPU to kick in, or I play video games that are often not bottlenecked by the CPU at all, just GPU. So there are interesting use cases where that actually kind of makes sense, that low power CPU and a good GPU.
I'm just going to read you these two sentences from Tom's post on the book 3. This isn't the best choice for a gaming laptop in terms of price and performance, unless you want the unique combination of a removable touchscreen that also includes stylus support. You can configure Razer's new Blade 15 with an RTX 2060 and 144Hz display for less than the starting price of the Surface Book 3. You have to really want to pull that screen off and have a tablet. To me, the Surface Book 3 and the iPad Pro are like an apex of form factor confusion around tablets, right? Like, we have gotten to the place where we definitely think the tablets are important, but to make them useful, you definitely have to turn them into laptops, And now it's like, because we think tablets, there's something here with this tablet thing. We have to be able to split this form factor up. But also we know that everybody just really wants this form factor. Just, I don't know. Maybe here's my hot take. Tablets are useless. The end. Like the idea that a tablet for a pro in this capacity is a useful thing. When Steve Jobs put out the iPad, he said it's a third device that needs to be good at these things in the middle. You still need a phone and a laptop. The more they've tried to sell tablets, the more they've tried to encroach on laptops. And all that has happened is we have turned them into laptops that are slightly worse because they're inherently compromised.
Because phones got so much better and bigger that people just did all that tablet stuff on their phone.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think I love the idea that it's a cool tablet that you can use and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you click it in and it gets a better GPU and battery. It's just cool on its face. But in practice, it's just gotten to the place where all we have is slightly worse laptops across however many different companies.
The right compromise here, honestly, is just make the 360 hinge. Honestly, just everyone will think that they're going to flip it around and use it. It'll be crappier as a tablet if you ever actually do it, but then you get all the benefits of the laptop. Just make the hinge that does the flippy thing all the way around. The end.
I'm going to put out the same challenge that we put out to people who game on Android phones. The mysterious Android gamer. If you are a hardcore Surface Book user and you are always attaching and detaching it from the base,
at least once a week,
just tweet at Dieter.
You don't have to do it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Once a week is like still not enough. Like once a week is like you realize that you've spent the money and you're going to try to force it again, right? Like 3 times a week.
Okay.
Every other day, you're detaching it intentionally because that's how you use it. Just tweet at us. He's at Backlon. I'm at Reckless. We'd like to hear from you. I suspect you don't exist, but let me know.